Mm, 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 mm. Yo, yo, yo. What's up? 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 What's up with y'all family? How y'all doing? We up in this thing. We up in this thing. Brother Lawrence 228. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Appreciate you up right now. Tune in, man. Hit that like button. We're gonna get into it. You see the title. We're talking about the mulattoes. And man, how many of y'all got mulattoes in your family? How many of you got mulattoes in y'all family? Okay, if you seen like not description, but the cover, I was using some of my ancestors' history when called a mulatto. So I'm not necessarily just talking on the MIC. We are talking about my family's place in his story. Right? So this is all my journey and what related topics, I can cover, that may help you out, as it's helping me out. Now I'm talking about. So, yeah, man, we got mulatto, we got, what I'm saying, biracial, triracial, shit, quad racial. Got some of everything. We down here on the coast, man. We down here in Mississippi. We down here in the South, man. They say there's a lot of stuff that went on. There's a lot of wars been fought down here in the South. Are there any major wars on the West or Midwest like it is down South? And we talking about, 14, 1500s, 15th century, 16th century. You know what I'm talking about? We know what it is now, but what was it back then? That's the, that's the thing, I guess when it comes to being Indian, being Aboriginal, being African, being European, being Spanish, Portuguese, you know what I'm saying? All the French, all them folk, man, tapped in down south, man, and a lot of stuff happened. And most of the stuff you should have learned in high school. Most of it. To a certain degree, you say half of it. A half truth is out there as, the whole story, and it's not. So when we do genealogy, some of it may match up, some of it don't. So it's a lot that goes into these records that doesn't match up to some of the narrative. But only you would know if you do your due diligence and figuring out the truth for yourself. And regardless what, I'm standing on my ancestors' back. They say we Indians, then we Indian. But yeah, how people classify themselves that or identify, that's their business. It's their personal business. You know, I can't tell you who you are because I don't know your lineage. I don't know your people. That same respect should be, you know, vice versa. Right? So, you know, when I come up with these topics, man, for sure, you know, we're seeking truth, and I'm putting it out there as I understand it and come across certain literature, you know, whether it's from a library, whether it's from an archive, whether it's from Google, you know what I'm saying, right at the fingertip, you know, from your phone or device. You know how simple it is to, to get in and research and, you know, spend some time as if you was at the library. Yeah. You know, instead of doing like whenever you writing papers and you gotta go, you know, research, do the bibliography, all that stuff. You know, you gotta notate it right? But you know, it's a process that, you know, that you gotta be kind of hip to. And everybody learned this in high school, you know, elementary. Elementary, you used to go to the library and you know how to research. So ain't don't knock anybody's knowledge on. Well, I say some of those tools been lost, you know, once we got out. But I feel that heart, man. You can feel, let the spirit kind of guide you. That's the ancestors talking to you. You know what I'm saying? You get that feeling. Yeah. That's them talking to you. Man, we all in this thing together. We all in the same boat. So, you know, regardless of what, like, everybody choose to identify, shouldn't separate us. It shouldn't. It should not separate us, because everybody got their own truth, and everybody's truth is different when you put it on paper. Everybody's truth is different. You got some truth related to other truth that might sound similar, but you can go so far left that you're two different people. Two different people. Left or right, for that matter, you know, up or down. Whatever's relative to you, right? You know, so this whole topic, as it relates to the term mulatto, you know, I understand it to be like the term mixed, right? And that word could mean like more than one different race. You could be mixed with all kind of races, right? But particularly those races that were, you know, here during colonial times, right? Not just the Indians, the American Indian, not just the indigenous people here, but when, according to the story they tell, when the Europeans arrived, right? Central America, when they arrived, a lot of stuff went down. They came down St. Lawrence. They came up and through Canada as well. That's America too, yo. Just in case you forgot. Mexico, that's America. Just in case you forgot. South America. Central, North, Upper North. The Upper North. Yeah, man, all of it, man. All that, like, you got these type of people who would like to divide stuff up, and it is what it is today. It's like what you gonna do with it. So, part of the acknowledging of, or at least self-identifying part, that's what we're here for on YouTube. And, you take what you can from it and you apply it to how it is, whatever your narrative and truth is, right? So I respect everybody that's in the game, but this is my truth over this way. And, rather my family who identify as being your typical African American or black, there are others who identify as Indian. And guess what? It's mainly the black people though. We all we all black in the sense of culture. We all Indian because of culture. Am I saying Indian and black are the same thing? No, but you're gonna see some dark hue people identifying as Indian. And that's their truth. Because of culture though. And by culture, I feel like, some of that stuff has been lost. Some of that culture has been lost. Some of the language, some of the bloodline, some of the, it's been lost. It's been, lost in the sauce, And so it's complicated. Conversations are complicated. The dialogue, the diatribe, it's been complicated because you got people that don't necessarily know anything about the South. You know what I'm saying? All they know is motherfucker hang your ass down this way. And guess what? It's true. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real down this way. So, when we talking about, getting back the land and all that good stuff, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful. You gotta move smart and swift, but, unless you got an army, I guess. I don't see one individual taking over the world, but when it comes to the village, you know what I'm saying? They're my people. And as a village, you got different villages, you got clans, you got, you got culture within those. And it may be slightly different, but at heart, our tribe is this way, our tribe, you know what I'm saying? Don't go over there. Don't go over there to try to, it was like that. Your hood, don't go over there in the other hood. And I think it's always been like that. Before the blue and the red. You know what I'm saying? I think that's natural. we roam freely, but yet we as clans, as a coach, you know what I'm saying, uh, uh, as a village, we migrate. Now, ever since everything, so much that went on, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to kind of track it down, walk it down or whatever. But yeah, man, this mulatto shit, talking about mix. I am mix. Again, they say I'm mix. My mama telling everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, me, I kind of gotta learn it all. I gotta understand both sides of the truth, and be like, yeah, you telling the truth, but that ain't the whole truth. And when you tell your truth, I'm like, yeah, you telling the truth, but that ain't the whole truth. But I can see how my family can be part of both stories. And I think that's, you know, we should change how we present the information, maybe as being true, because everybody's truth is their truth. It's like the understanding how some of these truths can be related to each other is where I think we start to kind of gel, and yeah, communities start to, you know what I'm saying, we most definitely respect everybody's boundaries and territories, you know what I'm saying, but creating your own within the system is always going to be challenging, man, because, and the European coming over here popped it off. They popped it off. So, but we here now, man. Like, what do we do from now? If you ain't practicing group economics, I think it's the answer. Going back to the village ways, taking over your communities. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, the literature, the literacy, awareness, all that stuff. We got certain people in different departments playing a role. Everybody play their role, man, in the right circumstances. We can make this happen, man. You just gotta, you can't just be messing with no non-believers. You gotta be on the right track. With anything you do, you gotta be on the right track. You gotta have that tunnel vision, and you gotta tune everything out. And that's what the ancestors got me doing. Yep. That's what the ancestors got me doing, man. So, hey, whether it fringe on even other family members, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you got your truth, you got your understanding, but this understanding is not for everybody. Because everybody ain't gonna get it. It's not for everybody. Even your own family members could derail you. You know what I'm saying? You can have a degree, you can have a master's, but you only gotta have truth at the end of the day. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And only some eat up in this thing, so you already know how to get this over with. I'm gonna be chewing and spewing the info. So get out of here, live, because I'm living good right now. Wife can feed in the belly. So, okay. Let's go to a short little clip. While that clip runs, only about 2 minutes. And we're gonna start getting into this mulatto thing. Alright? So, yo, DJ, cut the track. Yeah.
When did this shift change for people to start researching and accepting their their native heritage?
Well, I give you an example of my family. My grandfather had 18 kids, okay? And
Wow.
he always shared with us of a native heritage. His wife was Ophelia Rogers. That was my father's mother. She was the daughter of Alex Rogers, that is listed on the 1808 Shernock and Indian census, who was tried for murder in 1820 and found guilty of second-degree murder. Did 12 years of hard labor, got out, and went into Nansemond County, married, and went over to Hertford County. But at that time, Native people could not testify for each other. I have the whole court case. It was really self-defense. Now, Native people, my people, were classified as mulatto. Okay. Now that was a term that not necessarily mean half white, half black, or half Indian, half white, or half Indian, half black. It was a term that the colonials created back in the early 1700s, and in reality, in many cases, it means purebred Native American. And that term mulatto, I mean, the first one was 1824, the first Racial Integrity Act, 1824, and then 1924 was the last one in Virginia that was brought about during the plecurism. So when you're doing genealogical searches, unless you can talk to your ancestors, your parents, your grandmothers, great-grandmothers, and I tell people when I do presentations, talk to your people and ask from whence came I, so I can know how far I still have to go, okay? Because
That's right. That's right, man. That's all I'm saying, man. Do your genealogy, right? That was that was Chief Walt Red Hawk. Okay, better known as Red Hawk Brown. Okay, if you want to learn more about him, you can. Let's see. I think I just go here. Okay, so for the full interview, let me go ahead and post that. Let me go on and post that. Shout out to Red Hawk, Chief Red Hawk in the bit. All right, let me go ahead and post that. And that's for the full interview on that. Hopefully it's still up. I haven't checked in a minute. But moving right along. Make sure you see I'm sharing my screen. Right? Yep. All right, so as you see on the cover, and what we're looking at right now, this is from Indian Country Today. All right. So this column by Julianne Jennings about the history of mulattoes or mixed race people. Okay. Shout out to Miss Jennings. All right. This is called Mulatto, Less Than Human. All right. Don't get caught up in this. All right. Because you already know what they thought about black people. The purebred, 100% bred African as 3/5. So, okay, the mulatto, right? Less than human, right? So we on the same page. Race is not simply about the physical description of human variation. Since its origin in Western science in the 18th century, race has been used both to classify and rank humans according to inferior and superior types. Although race as a concept developed in the West during the Age of Enlightenment, prominent Enlightenment thinkers such as Carlos Linnaeus, John Blumenbach. Hey, he sounds like Johann Sebastian Bach. I want to pick any key. But Johann Blumenbach, Lewis Henry Morgan, and Samuel George Morgan, among other, greatly influenced European ideas about economics, government, and science as well as race. Concepts of race eventually spread to many parts of the non-Western world through international commerce, including the slave trade and later colonial conquest and administration, which have used it as a tool of social division among the mixed race people. All right. For centuries, a group amount of blood mixing had occurred, creating the Creole. Shout out to Louisiana. Shout out to the Boot. Shout out to the Boot. You heard the mestizos and other colored population of the New World colonies and possession of Europe. But what does this label mean? Haitian anthropologist Antonio Furman observes that human beings have always interbred whenever they came in contact with one another, so that the very notion of race is questionable. indeed, and not for the fact that the essential unity of humanity would be difficult to explain the eugenic crossbreeding that have made the planet sparkle with more human colors than there are nuances in the rainbow. See what they jokes? One second. Let me make sure ain't nobody. Make sure I ain't missing out on money. Make sure I ain't missing no money. Make sure I ain't missing no money. Hey. According to Paul Bruckham, who founded the Society of Anthropology in Paris in 1859, believe blacks and whites do not belong to the same species. According to Paul Bruckham, who founded the Society of Anthropology of Paris in 1859, believes blacks and whites do not belong to the same species. Okay? Remember, mulatto less than human. Right? That's why I do think. The union of the Negro and the white woman is very often sterile or infertile, whereas the union of a white man and a Negro is always fecund. Fecund. I think it's fecund. Meaning that you will be fertile to be able to have and produce a baby, right? And has to do with the length of the Ethiopian penis, which is greater than the length of the Caucasian vagina. So the sex act between a Caucasian man and an Ethiopian woman is easy, while the act between the Ethiopian man and Caucasian woman is difficult, painful, and most often infertile. Okay, and from this notion, the term mulatto is derived. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? When y'all hit that like button, I don't want. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me check my message. Let me check my message. Let me get a bite of this. You know what? 1 second. Give me 1 more second. Let me get my breath. And let him title me. Okay. I don't want to try to talk about food in my mouth. Okay, good now. Do y'all believe in manners, man? Who believe in manners? Hit that like button if you believe in manners. Is that a European civilized thing? Do you feel like, you know what I'm saying, like you, I don't know, what y'all think, man? I'm gonna keep it. We're gonna say that for another bill. Okay, to be civilized. Of course, did I read that already? Like, look, I bet he's gonna read that all over again. The etymology. What? We're talking about the etymology. A lot of people like to use that right there. They wanna dig in a little bit deeper, a little bit, not that surface level stuff. No, you get into that etymology. You know that's that throwback. We ain't talking about how the colloquial term. We talking about before it was coined what it is. The etymology of the term mulatto comes from the Spanish and the Portuguese word mulatto, which is derived from mula. Hey, you know what? Mula. Who talk about mula a lot? Ain't that mula? Ain't that money? I don't know. From old Galician Portuguese to Latin, meaning mule, the infertile offspring of a horse and a donkey. Okay? So, we're not telling mulattoes that you're a horse and a donkey, right? Those are two, like, living things, right? maybe related, you know what I'm saying? But two different things, I guess, you know what I'm saying? But they mixed in. So it's kind of all right. I mean, countering the racist idea. There we go. There we go. They ain't scared. They gonna throw it out there. They just tell you what it is. Countering the racist idea of the racially mixed couple, the term mulatto was applied to the offspring. Okay, a hybrid considered less than human. The disingenuous consequences for race mixing. Mulatto denotes a person with one white parent and one black parent, or more broadly, a person of mixed black or white ancestry. And you know what Chief Walt, you know, he was, you know, he telling us more than that, but they're gonna tell you too. But keep moving. Contemporary use of the term varies greatly, right? And the broader sense of the term makes its application rather subjective, as none of all the mixed people of black ancestry choose to self-identify as mulatto. Some reject the term because of the association with slavery and colonial and racial oppression, preferring terms such as mixed, biracial, African American. Yeah. Mulattoes may also be an admixture of Native American, South American, Native and African Americans, according to statutes of 1705. We can look at that. I looked at it, man, and it's got a lot of jargon in there, but it kept repeating Negro, African, Indian, mulatto. You having kids by this thing, what was prohibited, whatever. But maybe I need to get some more understanding with this right here. Hanging Statutes of Virginia 75 was really trying to say, which read as follows, and for clear all manner of doubts which hereafter may happen to arise upon the construction of this act or any other act, which shall be accounted a mulatto, be enacted and declared, and it is hereby enacted and declared that the child of an Indian and the child, grandchild, or great-grandchild of a Negro shall be deemed, accounted, held, and taken to be a mulatto. That's what they saying. That's what they saying. I gotta run that back. Not that far, but I gotta run it back. That the child of an Indian and the child, grandchild, or great-grandchild of a Negro shall be deemed accounted for, held to be taken as a mulatto. Okay, and I'm gonna come right over here to my family stuff. We're talking about Lucina Lewis, who is quoted in our oral tradition as being the Indian in our family, and of course everybody else, the siblings, mother, and from that being Indian and of Indian descent. So that was these MWs right here. Mulatto. All right. So let's go. Today, those who are mixtures of indigenous peoples of the Americas and Black Africans are called Zambos, while those who are mixtures of African American and Native American are called Black Indians, another subjective term, what they all are, or sometimes are solely classified or self-identified as African American. And that's what it says in our, although she's an Indian or of Indian descent, you know, on down the line, they end up identifying as African American. The 1790 to 1930 federal census gave this technical definition for persons listed as mulatto, quote, I quote, a person of mixed race, part black and part white. Someone even came up with different levels based on how much black blood a person held. They call them quadroons. They got some octoons. They had a whole bunch of. I seen one about 4. About probably about 8 different names on there, something like that. About 4 to 8. You know what I'm saying? Outside your white, Negro, or black. It would say B sometimes. It say mulatto, Indian. And if you're African, you know what I'm saying? I don't see no. I seen the word African on there, but not too many times, though. Not too many times. I don't even see that. I don't see that even when I'm looking at my family stuff. I go and we in Sumter County, Alabama, and we know that slaves, all kind of stuff was going through there. Choctaw County. This is where this is Choctaw territory. So we know Mobile, Washington County. You know what I'm saying? It's no secret. Blacks, you know what I'm saying, or like African people who supposedly came on a ship or something. You know what I'm saying? They down there because it's a big port. Probably one of the biggest ports around this thing. It might be the king of ports almost. Mobile, shout out to Mobile, man. We're gonna get into some of that Mobile history, man. That shipbuilding over there, it's a big port, man. So we're gonna check that out. That's right next door, right down the street. I do got family over that way. Got family in Chinchula. We're gonna get into them Chinchula tall people. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we doing it, man. We're gonna keep this thing funky just like that. Generally speaking, a mulatto is someone of medium dark skin or even yellow skin, as described in some old records. Okay, and I got a lot of mulatto on them census records for my family on my paternal side. A lot of mulatto dancing around over there, George County. You know what I'm talking about? Right up in the Mississippi stand up. In early years of the census, there were not enough race codes to cover every possible race. Well, shit, how many races could it be? So many. Look, you got to come up with more codes to describe the possible races of people that are speaking anytime around the 1790 when the census started, right, up until 1930. In the early years of the census, there were not enough race codes. When they started out, it was just white, black, well, free white, free black, and mulatto. Mulatto was on the census records before Indian came into the matter. Right? Let's tell you. I want to make sure I'm right on that, man. So Indian came in what year? I forgot. American Indians in the Federal Decennial Census, 1797, the Indian Census Roll, 1885. Okay. Boom. Indian was not added to the census, y'all, until 1860. Now, they say American Indians were not enumerated during these times. The non-tax, Indian non-tax, right? Those who are on reservations. Do you have an ancestor that go back to a reservation? That's what our oral history say. So when we say Indian, we already know what we're talking about. The people that's on the reservation. Right? Now, I remember when my dad, well, actually, when my dad was my uncle. My dad don't really care about that shit, but you know, cause he pro black. You know what I'm saying? You know, RG, what do you call it? RGB? Yeah, Black Power. He come from that era. You know what I'm saying? But it just so happened that the lady, the nice lady that she is, that he got down with, Big Chief, was an Indian, man. So like her side telling it all. But anyway, my uncle was telling me that on my dad was telling me that we had, because I have asked him a question about the Indian thing or whatever. We have any Indians or slaves, and I, you know what I'm saying, because I'm just new to the research, and he said he got some people down there on a reservation in Atmore, Alabama. Now, I can't identify the actual ancestor to the date, but this is how it is. With a census full of mulattoes throughout Mississippi, right? High yellow skin or light skin. Most of them light skin. I ain't gonna see too many dark people, you know. Even though I can, but it ain't really like a how they consider it. It was a color thing, like based off your complexion thing is how they put you in these categories. Like they didn't have the blood quantum yet, so they just looked at you. If you didn't look a certain type, you was considered blah 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 blah. Whether but up until the 1860s, you were either free white, free black, mulatto, right, or a slave. I guess if you could find that and attach your people to that, then big ups to you. You could tie yourself to the land. Go for that. Do that. That's you. Like, investigate that to, you know what I'm saying, see where they come from. Oh man, but let's go back. We gotta finish this. We gotta finish this. 1797 is we already I'll just go through it anyway. Federal census gave this technical definition for persons listed as mulatto: a person of mixed race, part black or part white. Someone even came up with different levels, right? The quadroon. Generally speaking, a mulatto is someone medium dark skin, even yellow stripes in some old records, right? In the early years of the census, there were not enough race codes to cover every possible race, so many people listed as mulatto were of some other origin. Okay, so keep in mind that those listed as mulatto could be mixed black, white or white Indian, black Indian, or a combination of all three. Triracial. That is your mulatto right there. This doesn't even account for those who might be dark-skinned and are triracial. Right? Because you know how black folk, you get the messing around outside anyway. You know the different shades of brown that you can create. Even just was black on black. You know what I'm saying? We can create that. But if you don't look like it, you're placed in a certain category just based off the look. All right. So anyone considered mulatto would have been listed on the other columns. Oh, did I skip over? This didn't even account for those who might be dark skinned, but some other than like the Melungeon, Dark Dutch. As you can imagine, this was a catch-all category of some records. in 1790, anyone considered mulatto would have been listed on the other columns. I already showed you the mulatto right there. In 1850 and later, they would be enlisted in the race code of M or MW, as you can see on that, in the color column. In many cases, you will find these same people listed as whites on some other census records. So, when you're doing your genealogy, you know what? I ain't gonna even front. I remember Sister Moon, Phoenix Moon was talking about don't get rid of the white people if you figure, you come across and they say white. Don't disregard it. And it just hit me like, she said that shit like years ago or whatever, but I remember one of the beginning videos I started listening to her on, and it might have been the source she got it from. I don't know, but hey, it's spot on. And it makes me want to just go back to the drawing board and just look at some of those white classified and just check it out anyway. You might find your people in there. You might find the Indian in there. You might find whatever, the black, white, the white Indian, the black Indian, or a combination of all three. Yeah. It is obvious blacks and whites have been in constant contact with one another based on the numerous racial definitions of the federal census. The fecundity of mulattoes is a well-known fact. Dr. Flora Laban, in her book, provides an excellent example of this. The Dominican population of Hispaniola offers initial proof that among both first-generation mulattoes and subsequent generations, the unions of mixed race persons are a full con. Man, I'm tired of this. I even looked this word up. You can see. Make sure I don't.
Fecund.
We're going fecund. Are you fecund? So, y'all know how to say it, fecund. Alright, forgot where I was at. I don't know where I was at. It might have been in back. I remember the Dominican population of they got a pecan. Okay, all right. The Dominican population of Hispaniola offers initial proof that among both first generation mulattoes and the subsequent generations, the unions of mixed race persons are as fecund as those between pure raced people. Okay, so they're saying there are fertile, like they can get pregnant, as those between. Make sure I do this right. This should prove that among both the first generation and later or subsequent generations, the unions of mixed race persons are as fecund as those between pure bred people. I think I'm understanding that correctly. All right. So while the turbulent theory may focus on the movement and location of those who travel, the attention here is on the people whose bodies, territories, beliefs, values, and customs. Didn't we talk about that? Yeah, have traveled through the first beginning European explorers, then conquered to the early Enlightenment philosophers, and by those who continue the racist thinking. Yeah, to the day, to this day. I know somebody said don't do that anymore. Of the small amount of human genetic variation, 86% exists within local population. There is more variation within a particular race than there is between different races. Race is not biological, but racism is real. Race is not biological. I think I like that right now. Race is not biological, y'all. But racism is real. This is probably the dopest. Alright. These perceived racial differences justify colonial control, right? Slavery and social inferiority of today. So really, those census records, man, they racist. Right on time. Right on time. Yo, that's that money. Yo. That's that money. Y'all had it hit like that. All right, so this is the end of the article anyway, right? So, anyways, to the light is choosing to ignore his veterans on contract. And he was mentioned how stated 50 Cent well before the light. There are none so blind as those who will not see. Julian Jennings, we appreciate that. EP Quatnadaway is a PhD student at Arizona State University. Shout out to you, Miss Jennings. I hope, you know what I'm saying, I did it some justice. Put it out. Get back over here. Move that screen. Yeah, I got the links. Y'all got the links in the thing. If not, I'll just put it back in the description. And yeah, man, we're just gonna leave that thing just like that. I still I gotta eat a little bit more of the range you gave me. I gotta finish that off. But yeah, we're gonna leave it like that, man. Make sure you do your genealogy. Hope this was helpful in some type of way. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. You know what I'm saying? And I'm usually gonna be just going live with this info. I don't want to just upload anything unless I just got it like it's the Pearl River Project or something. And I should have been talking about that earlier, but yeah, we're gonna leave it like that, man. So yeah, do your genealogy, y'all. Find out who your people are. The Brother Lawrence 228. We in this thing, we checking out. All right, peace.